Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, giving all glory, honor, and praise to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rachak Wadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who teach Ruel, taught us this truth. Shalom to the elect, the 144,000 pushing this truth in all sincerity in the four quarters of the earth. Lord willing, we be at that number. Hey, I'm your brother Tabar Yakwana coming at you with another video, and Lord willing, it's edifying. Right? We have Iran shooting missiles on an American base, a U.S. military base in Qatar. So what does the scripture say about that? This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 38 and verse 1. And the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog. Gog is referring to Russia, the land of Magog. So Magog means of or from Gog. The chief prince of Meshech. Meshech goes to the word Moscow or Mashach in the Hebrew. And prince, the actual Hebrew word for prince is Rashar. Ra, or chief is Rosh, or head, and Shar is prince. So Rashar is head prince, which goes to the word Russia. So Russia is a Hebrew word as well. It says the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. Meshech and Tubal, Magog, they're sons of Japheth. Right? It says, and prophesy against him. All right. Also, Gog in the Hebrew, or Salaki, the meaning of Gog is mountain. Okay. So you got the Caucasus Mountains over there in that region. It says, and say, verse 3, and say, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth. So this is the Most High controlling Gog, as it's written in the book of Proverbs, chapter 21 and verse 1. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord Yahweh, as the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. So, of course, as we always say, the Lord is the director and the author of this story that we're playing out here on earth. Okay. Verse 4. Verse 4. Again, it says, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Let's grab this in the NLT. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 38, and verse 4 in the NLT. I will turn you around and put hooks in your jaws to lead you out with your whole army, your horses and charioteers, in full armor, and a great horde armed with shields and swords. So this is Russia gearing up for war. All right. Verse 5, Ezekiel 38:5. Persia, which are the Iranians, which is what we're seeing right now. Iran shooting missiles, again, on that base in Qatar, that U.S. military base in Qatar. Okay. It says Ethiopia, which is Kush, Libya, which is northern Africa, or foot, with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Okay, so these are like the allies of Russia. You know, you see Russia already had a deep relationship with the Iranians. They are heavily invested in each other. Russia provides a lot of weapons to Iran. All right, it says, so verse 6. Salaki, let's address verse 5 again. Persia, again, Elamites, Ethiopia, Cushites, Libya, Foot, which is northern Africa, with them, all of them with shield and helmet. So they're gearing up for war as well. All right. This is the book of Joel, chapter 3 and verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. So these other nations that were perceived to be weak have invested in war, instruments of war, and, missiles. And then ultimately, at the top of that missile preparation are the big boy missiles, the nuclear missiles, the ICBM missiles. Okay. It says, jumping back to Ezekiel, the 38th chapter and the 6th verse, Gomer, which is Turkey, and all his bands, the house of Togomar of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. So Turkey is going to be brought into that war as well. Verse 7, be thou prepared, and prepare thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. So that's speaking to Gog, which we know is Russia. Let's grab that in the NLT. Ezekiel chapter 38 and verse 7 says, get ready, be prepared, keep all the armies around you mobilized, and take command of them. So that's Russia heading all of his allies, taking command, taking charge, being a guard, unto these other nations that have beaten their plowshares into and then their pruning hooks into weapons of war. Okay, this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50 and verse 9. For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country. That north country is referring to Russia and his allies. You got the Persians again, which are the Iranians, also China. It says, and they shall set themselves in array against her, Who's her? Babylon the Great. So this is not referring to the Babylon, ancient Babylon, which is Iraq. That area is Iraq, the ancient Babylon. This is referring to the new Babylon, which is America, Babylon the Great, written of in the book of Revelation, the 17th chapter. That whore that rides the beast back, that whore being America, and that beast, the seven-headed beast with 10 horns, being NATO and the EU. Jumping back to Jeremiah 50:9, it says, "And they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows, ICBM missiles, shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain." Right. So the Lord's Spirit is going to be on these missiles. And even though you may see some of them getting intercepted, the Lord ultimately is going to guide these missiles, put the Spirit on these missiles to hit the exact target of which he wants to be destroyed. So preparations for war are being made right now. Ultimately, the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, is directing the king's heart. All these kings over here in that Levant region, in the so-called Middle East, to war. All right. And as it's written, this is the book of Joel, chapter 2-3. And so this is the book of Joel, chapter 3 and verse 2. I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, which in the Hebrew which means in the Hebrew it's Yahweh Shaphat, or the meaning of it is Yahweh's judgment. All right, and so this region is in the Persian Gulf. All right, it says, "And will plead," meaning to judge, with them for my people and for my heritage, Israel. Okay, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. Okay, so this is vengeance or judgment. This is why the scriptures speak about, wait on the Lord. Okay, we aren't to take. Matter of fact, this is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 3 and verse 8. "Therefore, wait ye upon me, saith the Lord, Yahweh, Hashem Yahweh Shai, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them mine indignation." That indignation goes to righteous anger. "Even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. For then will I turn to the people a pure," that's the point. So, destruction on especially particular parts of the world. That land of Israel has to be cleansed, so it will be met with extreme indignation or anger of the Lord. ICBM missiles and all those kings of the earth, they're going to go into that the Lord is going to bring them into that region, and he's going to judge them, and they're going to be destroyed, and they're going to be destroyed by themselves, and they're going to be destroyed by the heavenly vehicles, the Marakaba, or the chariots of the Lord, shooting hot laser fire, and as well as Babylon the Great, which is America. So Lord willing, that was edifying, giving all glory, honor, and praise to Yahweh. Shalom.